Hello, my sweet summer children. I'm back with the juice to get you through the long night. I'm kind of speechless, y'all. Like, I'm I talk way too much. I'm a Gemini. I talk way too much to be speechless. Like, I'm not really speechless. But that episode was so good in so many ways. I'm going to go through the episode like I usually do. But this time, I'm sorry. I just got to go out of order. Because some shit, I need to just get it off my chest right now. As a book fan that has lost count of how many years it's been that I've been waiting for Winds of Winter and reading The Princess and the Queen and the Rogue Prince and Fire and Blood. This is one of my favorite episodes to ever come out of Westeros. Let's just talk about the brothers real quick. We had Jace and Luke, the Valyrian boys, and Aemond and Aegon. Everyone was like, this one is this, and this one is that, and this and this. Okay, all the actors are all doing amazing. Both sets of brothers are all interesting in their own way. Jace's storyline is very, very interesting in the books, especially when we get into Winterfell. But so far, Aemond's I don't give a shit about Turney's line sold the character 100%. He's going to be an amazing villain, but let's not act like he's not the bootleg version of Daemon. I tweeted Aemond was the Shein version of Daemon. He's the knockoff. And it's facts. Like, he's just the cheaper version. He's interesting, but the most interesting thing about Aemond isn't him. It's Vhagar. Nah, I'm kidding. I'm just salty and biased and team black all day. Anyway, his storyline does get really wild in the Riverlands and crazy. But while everybody was fighting over the brothers Valerian or the brothers Targaryen, Aemond, Aegon, Jace, Luke, and picking favorites and standouts, bro, the brothers that showed out in this episode were Daemon and Viserys. My favorite part of this whole episode was Daemon and Viserys. That build up, Daemon giving his speech after knowing the outcome, knowing the High Towers are going to side with him, that sinking feeling that the Greens were going to land a blow to Rhaenyra's legitimacy, and the doors burst open. The King's Guards come through the door, announcing Viserys of House Targaryen, first of his name, King of the Andals, the Rhoynar, and the First Men, a Lord of the Seven Kingdoms, and Protector of the Realm. And the music starts to play, and he's walking the throne room. Alicent's face changes. Otto's face changes. Rhaenyra can't believe what she's seeing. As he's walking, he looks at Alicent, and she looks ashamed. Ashamed that she plotted against the king's daughter while he's on his deathbed. And then he looks at his daughter, Rhaenyra, and then to Daemon. This scene is just so intense. Viserys literally dragged himself from his deathbed to make this walk and sit this throne to protect his daughter and his grandsons. Y'all don't understand. If Otto had named Daemon Corlys's heir, that would have been an astronomical blow to Rhaenyra's legitimacy as heir, let alone her children's legitimacy. And best believe the only reason Daemon was so bold to talk as he did, or to even come to King's Landing with this bullshit, was because he had assurances from Otto and the Queen prior that they would rule in his favor. But Viserys gathered every ounce of strength he had not to allow that to happen. I was crying, y'all, real tears. I was in here crying, snot running, throwing up, everything. Even thinking about it now, it makes me want to cry. Because when Viserys climbed those steps and his crown fell and Daemon bent down to pick it up and help him up, he put him on the throne and he placed the crown on his head. The way Viserys looked at him, the way Daemon looked, bro, I cried so hard. Y'all don't understand. Most people in book fandom, I've been fighting for my life for years, way before House of the Dragon, because believe it or not, most people in book fandom don't like Daemon. They don't like Daemon. They think he's awful, but I have receipts for years where I've been consistent in that Daemon is the GOAT. Daemon never wanted the crown ever. Daemon always supported his big brother, Viserys. He loved him dearly. When Daemon was 16 years old, he was gathering swords in the Riverlands, putting together a vagabond army just in case the Great Council of 101 tried to slight his brother. Daemon always saw Otto as a piece of shit. He always knew what Otto was, and Otto knew it. Otto did everything in his power to come between the bond that Daemon and Viserys have. And in this moment, none of that mattered anymore. They both saw each other. They both really saw each other. And this fucking scene was living, breathing art. This was art. But before we go forward, we must go back. So I just had to get that off my chest, guys. I just had to get it off because it was giving me anxiety and causing me chest pain. So the episode actually opens up at Driftmark with Vaemond Valerian trying to steal Driftmark from his brother Corlys Valerian. Corlys is sick and he may die. Vaemond wants Driftmark to go to him. Now I get it. He don't want Driftmark to go to Lucerys because in his eyes, Lucerys is not Valerian. Okay, cool. That's all fine and well, I guess. Except for the fact that to claim Driftmark for yourself, Vaemond, you are saying fuck Corlys's dying wishes, and also fuck my niece's daughters. Laena's own daughters, Baela and Rhaena. They would come before Vaemond in the line of succession. Vaemond is running his mouth to Rhaenys, and he's telling her flat out, Viserys doesn't rule anymore. The Hightowers do. So Vaemond files a petition with the crown to settle up this secession of Driftmark. Can we just admire how Baela said, my grandmother is quite comfortable here. Baela is truly Daemon's daughter. Like, y'all just wait on it. If you haven't read the books, just wait on it. Baela is Daemon's daughter and the Greens. Well, Aegon II's worst nightmare. But also, where is her dragon? Because if you didn't know, Baela has a dragon named Moondancer. And I had tweeted a while ago about this, like last week, how I don't really like that we hardly ever see the fucking dragons in House of the Dragon. I guess for season 1, they're going to keep the dragons minimal because we're going to see a lot of dragons going forward. But, where's Moondancer? Free Moondancer. And honestly, about that whole scene at Driftmark, I didn't really like how Vaemond was down talking the sea snake. He was like, his ambition has brought calamity after calamity down on this house. Nah, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? His ambition made that house what it is. It was Corlys Valerian and his voyages that made House Valerian the richest house in Westeros. Him and him alone. I have a whole video on Corlys Valerian if you want to know how he built House Valerian to be the richest house in Westeros. I mean, richer than the Lannisters. Yeah, Corlys did that. Anyway, then we are at Dragonstone. And if you look at the water, it looks like the shadow of a dragon. It may be, hear me out, it may be our first sighting of the cannibal, the wild dragon. Or it could just be a raven. But I kind of think it's too big to be a raven, the shadow. But anyway, we get some gorgeous shots of Dragonstone and Dragonmont, the volcano. So if you didn't know, Dragonstone has its own very own volcano, Dragonmont. Daemon is literally climbing down inside this volcano because inside this volcano, Syrax has laid eggs. 3 eggs. He gives the eggs to the dragon keepers and he just seems like all giddy and happy like a kid on Christmas. Like, yes! Hey, y'all! Syrax laid 3 eggs! But anyway, Baela has written her father to inform him of what Vaemond said. And they probably sent Baela to Rhaenys for Rhaenys to be, or for Baela to be Rhaenys' ward for that reason. I mean, sure, they knew that she was lonely. Corlys has been gone for 6 years. Both her children are dead. So her granddaughter, Baela, would keep her company, but Baela would also be their eyes and ears on Driftmark. When we get in Dragonstone, Jace is learning High Valyrian. We also see little Joffrey, 6 years old now. And I just want to say, Jace is the truth when it comes to being born to be king. Like, he's the truth. Like, he knows the importance of knowing the histories and learning High Valyrian, and he sits on war councils, all that shit. shit. That boy was better than anything that ever came out of Alicent's coochie. But anyway, I thought what he was saying was like hella interesting. He says Aegon ordered all the trees be killed. And Rhaenyra responds with felled. It's a related word. So felled is a related word to killed in High Valyrian. This led me to believe that Winterfell may mean winter killed, but also does this mean as Aegon was moving north to meet the Starks in battle or to meet with Torrhen Stark before Torrhen bent the knee, that Aegon was cutting down weirwoods along the way? Like, why would he do that? What was the reason? But Daemon and Rhaenyra decide to go to King's Landing. Nobody greets them as they arrive. They just arrive like regular commoners. Otto planned that. He said as much. Alicent has got on Pinterest and changed up all the decor around the Red Keep. And I agree with Emma. It looks gaudy. The huge Valyrian Lego set is all cobwebbed. It's just sad in the Red Keep. Like, it's not as lively as it was in season, and I was going to say in season 1. Like, in the first few episodes, it was, like, lively there, and now it's kind of, like, dull and dark and gray, and I don't know. I don't want to go over there. And Viserys literally looks like the crypt keeper. He meets his grandchildren, Rhaenyra's 2 sons with Daemon, Aegon, and Viserys. Daemon tells Viserys why they are there. Like, look, Daemon's petition is why we're here. And Viserys is kind of like, Alicent and Otto, like, they see to all that shit now. I don't have time for that. As you see, I'm dying. But Daemon is like, no, bro, listen, no. But did y'all peep how baby Viserys was looking at his grandfather? He was like, the fuck? But anyway, Daemon smells Viserys' tea, and it's full of milk of the poppy. I also wonder, like, could there be some poison in there? Because I know it's been a long-running theory that Alicent actually poisoned Viserys to kill him. Anyway, so there's the King's Council. They're meeting. And Lord Beesbury, he's right. He's right. He's always right. I love that man. I will go to war for him. He's right, true, just, and loyal, and he should be protected at all costs. So we find out that there has been a mishap with Aegon. Aegon has raped a serving girl. And from the looks of this, it's not the first time. This is not the first time this has happened. Alicent has this routine down. Pity, mercy, gaslight, moon tea, repeat. He's a predator, and that's your king. Like, if you're Team Green, that's your king. At this point, Aegon is married to his sister, Helena, and they have 2 children, twins, 1 boy and 1 girl, Jaehaera and Jaehaerys. Aegon doesn't want to be king. And the clip from the preview trailer, I think that he's running away from this shit. Like, no, fuck this. After leaving her raper son, Alicent then has an audience with Daemon and Rhaenyra. They read her to filth. And when Daemon said, I have no doubt it was an act of the purest mercy, I love it. I love it. Because I'm going to talk about that at the end. Next, we are in the training yard. Luke is struggling with not looking like Laenor. I think he hates being a bastard. But we see the duel between Crispin. And yes, I know his name. Okay? In the gray area, he is Crispin, and he will always be Crispin. I like the actor that plays Aemond. I liked him in Last Kingdom. Like, he really delivers as Aemond. This is where he delivers that I don't give a shit about tourneys. Nephews, have you come to train? And before we can process that, because that shit is absolutely fire, but before we can process that, Vaemond Valerian has arrived to King's Landing. He doesn't even speak to Jacaerys or Lucerys. Vaemond has Otto and the Queen on his side, and he knows it's a sure thing that he will be named heir, but he doesn't have Rhaenys. But Rhaenys is not on Rhaenyra's side either. She's in the Godswood right now accusing Rhaenyra of killing Laenor. And I kind of just don't understand why Rhaenyra just doesn't tell her. He's alive. He's alive. He didn't die. He ran away. He hated being forced into this role of this society. I freed him. Rhaenyra offers to marry her sons to Laena's daughters. But Rhaenys is like, fuck out of here. I'm not trying to hear none of this. Rhaenyra feels she's lost Rhaenys, and she's feeling a little hopeless at this point. And she's in her father's bedchambers. And this scene had me crying too, because he named her heir, and she needs him right now really desperately. Like, she says as much. She's like, if you want me to bear this burden, I need you to defend me and my children. And he just can't even, like, make a coherent sense. It's sad, man. It's sad. And she asks him about A Song of Ice and a Fire prophecy, and if he thinks it's real. But I mean, all he's doing is mumbling. He can't. He's not coherent. As she's talking to him, the storm outside sounds to be getting closer and closer. In the morning, Viserys, oh my God, poor Viserys, man. Like, he's so sick. He's so sick. He, like, looks completely fucking different. But he commands a dinner with all of his family tonight. I already talked about the scene leading up into Daemon losing his everlasting mind and his head as well, from the tongue up. But when Daemon was like, her children, and Daemon was like, say it. I was thinking too, like, say it. And when he said it, he went even further, calling Rhaenyra a whore. And Dark Sister took his head clean the fuck off. The standards of being a whore in Westeros are considerably low, if you ask me. Like, Crispin took her virginity. She got married to Laenor. Their relationship didn't pan out quite that well. She had 3 kids by Harwin, and she married Daemon and had 3 kids by him. If we include Laenor, because they did say they had sex a few times, her body count is like 4. What's your body count, Karen? Anyway, Daemon was giving keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth energy, and I'm here for it. Aemond looks like he's about to ask Daemon for his autograph. It's funny because Aemond wants to be just like Daemon. But do you really think that Aemond is going to support Aegon like Daemon has supported Viserys? I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, probably not. Aemond is a green boy with the smell of summer still on him. When I think of Aemond and Daemon and how Aemond aspires to be Daemon, I think of that fucking song by Eminem, Stan. Dear Slim, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling. I left my cell, my pager, and my home phone at the bottom. It's like, bro, chill. You will never be Daemon. I don't care how big your dragon is. You will never be Daemon. Anyway, Rhaenys is with Daemon as the Silent Sisters prepare his body. I think she's reflecting on all the death that surrounds her, and they talk about the stranger, and the stranger is one of the faces of the Faith of the Seven. So Rhaenys was smart, and she skipped dinner. The dinner was Viserys' last attempt to settle this, disputing and this quarreling. He doesn't want to die with the House of the Dragon divided. House Targaryen, he doesn't want it divided. He sees the division. Viserys gives a toast to Jace and Luke and Rhaena and Baela and their betrothal. Aegon can't stop thinking about sex. Somebody needs to get this boy a fucking counselor because he's got issues. Lord have mercy. Look at this contrast. Like, just look at the contrast between Jace and Aegon. One has respect for women and one does not. Anyway, then comes Viserys' speech. Another tearjerker. Like, he takes this mask off and his, like, whole, like, you can see through his face. It's crazy. Like, the man is hanging by a thread, and he tells him, like, set your grievances aside. Not for the crown, but for this old man. And that took me out. Because it's so damn sad. This is years of damage one dinner can't fix. But his speech prompts Rhaenyra to raise a toast to Alicent, and Alicent says she's moved, and Rhaenyra will make a fine queen. And when Alicent says, you'll make a fine queen, Rhaenyra, Otto was looking like, slow your roll, Alicent, slow your motherfucking roll. Jace raises a toast to Aemond and Aegon. He does it so he won't knock Aegon the fuck out for disrespecting Baela. Aemond stands up all weird, like, sit your one peeper ass down. What you gonna do, little puppy dog? Anyway, Helena says, beware of the beast beneath the boards. Whatever could she be referring to? I'm not going to say what she's talking about, but I'm sure you guys will know and will say in the comments. Anyway, she also makes a toast to Bela and Rhaena. And it was a sad toast. Like, I don't know why they ever married her to Aegon. Like, it's a crime I'll never forgive. And then the music starts to play and everyone's laughing. Jace is dancing with Helena. It should have been Jace and Helena. It should have been Jace and Helena. That would have solved this issue. Rhaenyra proposed this wedding in episode 6, but Alicent said over her dead body. Guess what? You know, you're gonna get that war that you wanted, and it's gonna cost you dearly. Like, this is the saddest scene because we all know a war between the two factions is about to break out, and it didn't have to be like this. It was made like this, and it's sad that these children that should have been raised to love each other were brainwashed to hate each other. So Viserys starts to get, like, you know, feeling bad, and he leaves. And as he's leaving, a pig is brought in and placed in front of Aemond. And Luke smirks and, you know, he kind of laughs, and Aemond just loses it. Like, to me, like, the pink dread really got him in his feelings like that. Like, that shit wasn't even funny like that. It was mildly corny. He wouldn't have lasted a day in my high school because them jokes would have really hit different. They would have really hurt his feelings. If the pink dread is still getting to him 6 years later, I'm glad he never attended my high school. Anyway, Aemond uses the toast to insult his nephews as strong boys, aka bastards. The boys start fighting and Daemon breaks it up, and Aemond and Daemon have a little stare down. But Aemond knows damn well he ain't fucking with the big dog. You just a puppy. You're a knight of summer. And that's a winter soldier right there. Anyway, Rhaenyra, Alicent doesn't really want Rhaenyra to leave. I don't know if she's being fake. I don't know if she's being phony. I don't know what's going on with Alicent. But Rhaenyra plans to return to court on Syrax after taking the kids back to Dragonstone. Viserys is in bed, and Alicent comes to bring him milk of the poppy. And this is where the episode just loses me. This little part right here. Because they're trying to make it seem like Viserys mumbling about Aegon's prophecy and Aegon's dream. Somehow, Alicent thinks that is her Aegon. But, bro, why would you think it's this? Why would you think this man is saying, because she takes that. And in the preview for the next episode, she says, Viserys told me he wanted Aegon to be king. No, when did he tell you that? I don't see how you could ever misconstrue what he was saying into he wants Aegon to be king, because fuck what he said. He just got out of his deathbed that he hasn't been out of in a very long time and walked that throne room and dragged his corpsely body onto the throne to make sure you did not harm his heir and her children. And he did that because if you did it, you would have questioned their legitimacy, and he was not having that because he's not changing his mind. And if he was going to change his mind, the time for him to say it would have been at that dinner. Back to what Daemon was saying. When Daemon read Alicent's character where she constantly makes excuses for the things that she does. Daemon calls it how he sees it. He's like, I have no doubt it was an act of the purest mercy. She says that she's doing things for she says that she's doing things on behalf of the faith. She says, the Father judges people justly, and I will not remember what you have said here today, and blah 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 blah, and blah 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 blah. But I really think she's gaslighting herself. Because she knows it's wrong what she's doing. So she has to believe. She has to lie to herself, and she has to believe that Viserys wants Aegon to be king, and she's not doing anything but fulfilling her husband's dying wishes. But what did you think about this episode? As always, thanks for watching. Thanks to everyone who supports me on Patreon. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and join the sweet summer family. Okay, my sweet summer children, have a good day.